Welcome to the Vertex Podcast, where we discover the humanity in artists. I'm sitting down with creative professionals of all types each week to get more into the human side behind their incredible work. I get into their life stories, I get into their challenges, and I get into what fuels their creative drive in hopes to show you that your journey might be similar and that your dreams might be closer than they appear. Thanks for tuning in. Let's get into it. Welcome to the show. How you feeling?
Hey, good.
Good. Yeah, people are excited to hear from you today.
Yeah, this will be
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
I was like,
So,
I'm new to the Twitch too, so I'm like, I don't know how streaming works. It's all cool.
oh man, it's
Mhm.
its own art form, man. And I think it's so cool because people get to watch, but they have an influence on what they see on the screen. So like with a TV show, whether you
Mhm.
watch it or not, whether you say something or not, the show is gonna be the same, but you could ask a certain question and it could send the conversation down, a different pathway, or you can say something and make that person's day or whatever. So I think it's so cool to be able to like influence it like
Yeah.
that.
hmm
Hmm.
And just talking live, because instead of watching like YouTube and seeing people, it's like interactive, which is cool. So
For sure.
yeah.
And so, yeah, this is cool though. You got people already in the chat. Yeah, it's cool. You have a lot of people in here who already know who you are. But for people who don't, who are you? What do you do? And why are you doing it?
Well, I'm Leah Abucayan, also known as HellaLeah. I'd say I like to create stuff. So it's like I'm an artist, like I do graphic design, but I also do like duct tape art, murals. I just like to craft and make stuff. So generally, that's just like how I see it. I'm just like a maker, I guess. Yeah, and then I do it because it's my passion. I've always, like, even as a kid, wanted to just make things. I take stuff apart, put it together. So I was like, nothing's really changed. I'm just that same kid, just older, doing the same thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man, I feel like that's what creatives really are. Like we just never really let go of it. A lot of people, because it's not uncommon for like kids to want to be creative and draw and paint and like make stuff, but as adults, a lot of those people just kind of like fall off of that craft, but we just hold to it tight, man. We just find something in there that makes it it's just better than anything else.
Yeah, you
So,
can't not do it. Like, you have to. It's like
yeah,
like Toys R Us kids will
definitely.
forever be, yeah. hmm
So, okay, um, so whenever you said that you've done it since you were a kid, is this like, I mean, grade school? Is this like your earliest memory? What kind of introduction did you have to your creative practice? What medium did you start in first?
Well, I feel like it just all like I can't even think of the earliest like childhood memory where I wasn't drawing. I feel like I was always that kid who like would take apart, the toys from like Happy Meals or even like I grew up in Germany, so Kinder eggs, there's little toys in there. I'd take them apart, put it together. Um and then like even my mom was saying since my dad was in the Air Force, we were in Germany. I got to walk through what is it like Sistine Chapel and like just people painting on the street. So I think just taking that all in, and then even asking my mom to like paint Barney on the ceiling and stuff like that. It's just always been in me where I'm like now I really could paint Barney on the ceiling if I wanted to.
Man,
Um, yeah.
man, you should like even the wall right behind you is like super paintable. But you say you grew up
Oh,
in
for sure.
Germany?
Yeah, well, it was like for 3 years. So my dad was in the Air Force, so we kind of moved around everywhere. So I'm like from California originally,
Mhm,
but I think I was like maybe like 3 to 5 or 6 or something in
mhm,
Germany. So, and then even I'm the youngest of three,
mhm.
so my two older siblings were like super influential to things that I end up liking. So everything that I liked as a kid was like kind of older than what usual kids would like. So I was always influenced by things that they liked, like the 80s and like that music and that art style and stuff like that. So I just held on to it.
Mm. what are some of the
Mhm.
things that you see now to be the most influential to you at that time, now that you can look back?
I think even just looking at my art style and how it's progressed and like developing that look of like what my art style is, a lot of it is geared toward like nostalgia. So I always say I want the vibe of my art to kind of take you back to that like Saturday morning cartoon vibe where you're like just watching TV with a bowl of cereal, like that type of cartoons. So I feel like that's just influence from what I liked before, but I'm still doing it.
Mhm. But
Yeah.
what kind of things I guess what kind of things in particular, like, were there any shows you say Saturday morning cartoons, but, like, were there any cartoons in particular or any games or things like that?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I'm like a big Disney nerd. Just from being a kid, I was like, I've always that was one of my goals in life was wanting to design for Disney. And this like as like a really little kid, I like knew I was going to work for Disney. And that's something I was able to do like later in life. So that kind of took me on my journey of like what I wanted to learn from like how to draw cartoons, you'd copy all these like Disney characters, um, and what all the shows look like. And then even going to college, I kind of geared toward I wanted to do product design for Disney or like Disney merchandising. So
Mhm.
even just picking my major off like um, how that would gear me toward getting to that goal. So it's definitely like what inspired a lot of things. Yeah.
Mm, dang. So, man, trying to think about how to ask the question of, like I have a couple of questions, but the first one is more you said that you knew you were gonna work for Disney, and I'm curious to know what was that moment that you made the decision? Was it something you saw like, in a movie or like was it the first time you like went to Disney World and you were just like that was it a snap decision or did it kind of grow on you over time?
Um, Somehow I feel like it was a lot of just like things that just led like influence throughout my life. So I think I was probably like 3 when I went to my first Disney park, which was Disneyland Paris. The first
Mm,
time I ever went to the park. I still have pictures from that time. And just like, it's a kid at Disney, so like you can't not be like super excited and taking all the things in. Um, and then after that, my brother in college did the what was it? The college intern program. So he was in Disney Consumer Products. So I think I was around what middle school at this time, and I got to tour the whole facility, and I was that's it. I got to work here. So everything since then is just kind of learning things like that. Oh, and then kind of rabbit hole. When my dad was in the Air Force, he's originally from the Philippines. So him picking his first U.S. Um, like base to stay at. I guess like as a kid, he told me later, this is after I like was already like super into Disney, that he picked Florida because he wanted to see Disney World after watching the commercials just from being like a kid in the Philippines. So I was like, see, it's like in my blood. I'm like low key Disney adult from like birth. I don't know.
man, isn't
Yeah.
that interesting how like how a company like Disney can literally influence whole families, over generations, like the power of something that engaging for that long, you
Yeah.
know? That's like
Mhm.
that's insane to
Yeah,
me, like
it sounds crazy, but I'm like, it's definitely just taking that in and seeing how it like made me happy as a kid. So I want to be able to design and do the same for like other people who go to the park and see stuff. So pretty
yeah,
fun.
like
Yeah.
passing down like it's like you're in that position now where you can start making the things that inspire people and like it's kind of like it's your
Yeah,
turn,
exactly.
to like
Mhm.
yeah, it's really cool. So then I'm curious to know how do you think that you growing up in or not growing up, but you staying that time in Europe, what were some of the things that you experienced that you think was a lot different from like a kid that just grew up here in the
Mhm.
States or just somebody who only grew up in Cali? Were there any things that you saw or experienced um in particular that were like, yeah, I would not be me without this?
I think, well, I was really young because I was like still a kid, and don't really too much of
Uh-oh.
it, just being exposed to like traveling and being in different countries and like being used to that as a child. And then exposed to a whole bunch of like crazy museums like the Louvre and Sistine Chapel, like all that stuff, like seeing like Michelangelo type things and people just painting on the streets is like, even if I don't specifically remember, but I like see it in old videos, I was like, I was probably taking that in and being like, I want to do that. So
Yeah. So you probably didn't even
yeah.
get like, with you being so young, you probably didn't even experience like a culture shock for real, because it was all new. Everything was new because you were so young.
Mm,
Was there any moments where you were like,
yeah.
what is like, why do they do this or why do they do it like that? You probably just took it at face value, huh?
Mhm. Yeah, I think for me, it was just something that came naturally where I was like, instead of questioning it, it's more like I wanted to do that. And not even necessarily like murals that came like later in life, but just like being creative and making something out of nothing. Um,
Mhm. Were you were you able to, or were you exposed to like the different languages and things that they spoke over there? Like, did you or your family pick up on any like German or French or anything being over there for that amount of time?
yeah, I think my older sister went to school there, so she like remembers couple sentences here and there, but because it was like an Air Force base, I mean, it was majority like English, but you're definitely exposed to it like when you go travel because everything's just like a train ride away. And then of course, like my family speaks like uh, Tagalog and Kapampangan, two dialects in the Philippines. So just different languages are always like something that just it's not weird. It's just like a cool exposure of like knowing different languages. So
Yeah, that seems to be the case. Like, as soon as you step out of the US, it's like people just know at least two a lot. Like in a lot of places you go, people know like just because they're so close to other countries that use vastly different languages. So they're just used to like, okay, yeah, we go over here so much. We've picked up on German because it's right there, But here in the States, it's like the whole the whole country just speaks like the same language. So it's like,
for
you know,
sure, just different like tones, tonations, and how you talk depending on because I guess you could tell how people like where they're from based on how they talk here, I guess.
for sure.
Yeah.
Like accents is our whole like that's like
Mhm.
our language, because there's
Yeah, for
certain
sure.
accents that are so twisted that like it's almost hard to understand even if you speak the language. People get on Atlanta accents all the time. When you got somebody that's got a super strong Atlanta accent, they're like, I don't even know what you're saying right now.
Yeah. But you could tell where they're from if you're anywhere else, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Mm.
The way I don't understand you, you're definitely from Atlanta right now. So, okay, so then so you moved from Europe uh to Cali. And so what was that kind of shift like, and um what kind of um I'm trying to think about how to ask this question. Um did you experience any sort of shift after that, like going from Europe to Cali, and then basically what kind of like what was school like for you, and I guess the rest of your upbringing from there?
Mhm. I mean, since I was born in California, it was more so like going home. And like I said, I was so young, I feel like I don't really remember the change since I didn't go to school like in
Mhm.
Europe. But yeah, being able to go to school in California, it's like the most diverse place. You're kind of exposed to everyone. And then I went to like an area that was like very creative where I was about to go to a performing arts and fine arts high school, but I ended up staying at like a newer public school that we had in my area. Um, And I felt like that was a big pivotal point for me because if I did go to like the specific art high school, which sounds very cool. It was like a charter school. Everybody does art. But then if you go to a regular school, you're like the only art kid, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah, so it kind of like pushed me to do so much more because I was like, I have all these opportunities. Like no one else does art at this specific school. So yeah.
Mhm. Were you the type that let your artwork like make you friends? Like, or were you like a conversationalist? Like did you like to talk to people?
Not really. I feel like I'm shy until I know you or until I'm like in my circle or my element. So didn't necessarily like talk to people or wasn't as like vocal. But I definitely made friends just from like, being the art kid at school. Like I draw pictures. Everybody knew you draw pictures. They're always like wanting you to draw them stuff or make them stuff. And then I had a small business, I guess you could say. I'd make duct tape wallets when I was in school and sell them to everybody. That was like my little side hustle. I'd take little orders, make little duct tape wallets with whatever design they wanted on them. Um, so it was definitely like how I met everybody and was like chill with everybody at school.
For sure. I think that's like the benefit of being the creator. Like you literally let the work
Yeah.
speak for you and you make friends, I think, easier because anybody that's gonna come up to you and talk about the drawing you're doing, if they like it, there's already a point
Mhm.
of connection instead of like having to reach out like a
Right.
cold, like, hey, my name is blah blah blah. They're able to
Hmm.
like y'all already got that point of connection of like, oh, you like Dragon Ball or you like,
Yeah.
Gundam or whatever. And so that's cool. So the duct tape started early.
Yeah. It was early. It was like, I think I was 11. It was in middle school. Because you know
Mhm.
that era of people making duct tape wallets? Like it was one of those fads.
I
You
think
remember that? You
I
didn't
heard of
do
like
duct tape wallets in
one.
your school?
I didn't do a duct tape wallet. I think
Really?
like you know what we used to have? People used to make purses out of ramen noodle packets.
Oh
They would
yeah,
take the
ours was
plastic and
purses out of Capri Sun was
yep.
popular too. I never did that, but I did the duct tape wallets, and that just, like, oh, a new skill set to learn. And then I was like, what else can I make with this? And I'm still using it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's I mean, but that in itself is really cool. And like what made you so was it because of the fad that you even started doing the duct tape and then you just kind of took it
Mhm.
and kept it? Okay.
Yeah,
So
there was a kid. I think he was like a kid on our bus had a duct tape wallet, and it was just the plain gray one, but it was like really like sloppily. Like you could just tell it was like a thing of tape. But I was like, I feel like I can do that, but neater. So I really
yeah.
was just trying to make a neat wallet, but then I was like, I can do more. So I started like making little designs on the tape, and then since people like mine, they'd ask me to make them theirs, and then I'd be like, "What do you want?" Like the design turned into like a little side hustle business, like not even on purpose.
Man, that
And
is so cool.
this was like the Tumblr era also. So it ended up
Oh,
being like from school to like people online being like, "Let me get one."
dang.
Yeah.
Look, um, I mean, were you making pretty good money like for a middle schooler?
For a middle schooler, yeah. It was definitely, I mean, now from what we do, I was practically undercharging for everything,
Yeah.
especially something custom. But for a middle school kid, I was like, pretty cool to be able to have a little fun job that you enjoy doing.
Yeah, because even doing something for like $5 or something as a middle schooler,
Yeah.
like you get a couple of those, you walk away from school with like $30. Like you feel good with that money in your pocket, man.
You buy cookies or whatever you want,
Yeah, all the little snacks out the vending machine.
for sure.
So with the duct tape art, what are some I'm curious about what kind of pitfalls you experience that people wouldn't expect.
Definitely I guess the planning process of duct tape because I think of it like manual vector art. And for people who don't know, vector art's like using Illustrator where it's a bunch of shapes layered on itself. to like create an image. So I literally think of it as like just manual vector art. I'm doing the same thing that I usually do like graphic wise, but you have to cut everything out separately. So just planning like what shapes are larger than others to layer the tapes, since it is like so many colors and layers on top of each other. Um, it's a different thinking process to think in layers. And also when larger pieces, like for example, I did one of my last pieces I did was like a Barbie piece, and there was a shape that was huge. But when you're cutting those things out and you have to rip it off the table, sometimes the sticky parts will stick to itself and you have to start all over again. So there's a lot of like trial and error, and like it'll get stuck to itself a lot. So if sometimes you're able to pull it back apart and sometimes you can't. So it's just like letting it go and starting it over.
Mm, mm.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
and and that I mean that duct tape art has been able to get you some really cool projects and some really cool clients. And what kind of what are some of the more unique or fun projects that you've been able to work on with duct tape? I remember seeing something where I think you wrapped like a car or like a spare tire case or something like that.
Yeah, that was honestly the craziest canvas that I've ever gotten from murals and tape art. It was for Mercedes-Benz, or first they got in my email, right? I had an email from Mercedes-Benz, and this is like their headquarters in Germany, not their headquarters in Atlanta, that reached out. And I really thought it was spam. Like I was so sure it was fake because they were asking me or pitching this idea to put a portrait of a golfer, a legend, like I guess what they were calling a legend golfer for the Masters on a car. And so instead of using a car wrap, they wanted me to like make his portrait and put it on a G-Wagon. And I was
Mm.
like, this has to be fake because why would anyone put tape on a G-Wagon? But yeah, I emailed them back, and like when I found out it was real and what they wanted it for, it was actually it was this guy's he's from, I think he was from Germany, and it was like his 40th year at the Masters like golf tournament. So they were gifting him this car. So that's like what they wanted to do to design it to give him this thing. So I was like, that's a crazy gift. So I was able to go to Mercedes-Benz, like the headquarters in Atlanta, and they literally just handed me the keys and was like, it's in the parking in there, it's in the parking garage. So I was just like walking around by myself, like in the parking garage with keys to a G-Wagon. Like I
Mm.
drove it a couple times in the parking garage. Yeah, but that was definitely like a weird challenge. It was like dark in there. I had to figure out like, not that I can't necessarily like cut on the car, of course. So I treated it like stickers, like giant stickers. So it
Right.
was one of the larger pieces at that time that I've worked on in tape. So even having to think of like using the minimal colorways that like tape comes in and doing this piece of this guy. um I taped it at home, put it on a big like wax paper so that I can just rip it off and stick it on like a giant sticker. um so it was a little scary, honestly, because I didn't want to like mess up the paint or do
Woo.
anything. But I used, because I usually use duct tape, I used gaffer tape on the bottom side. So if you don't know, gaffer tape is usually used for like film and production, for like for cords and things. That way you can just rip off the cords, and it doesn't leave any residue. I put that as like a whole solid bottom layer. That way they can take the design off the car without messing up the paint.
Mm.
So yeah, it
So
was a lot of
mhm.
things to think of.
Interesting. So then what kind of stuff were you using to protect it from like the outside? Or is duct tape just that durable?
I'd say because I wasn't sure if they were going to actually keep the design on the car, which I hope they took off before he just drove around. um, I didn't seal it. So like duct tape's pretty durable. It's like waterproof. I mean it's tape. You fix stuff with tape. So I feel like just seeing the layers and leaving it, it's pretty durable. Like nothing's gonna go wrong with the outside. Like he could have totally driven around with it on there and it would have been fine. But I did run into a few issues where the video or the pictures that I posted of that car, it was only three sides. So it was one side, the front and the back. but the other side had it had 3 portraits of him also. It had like a young version, a like midlife, and then his current age. But the reason that they didn't want to use it was because the masters is so strict that the green, like he was wearing a green like blazer. It's like something for the masters. The green was not the same master's color, so they couldn't show it. So I was like,
Mm,
dang, I did like 3 whole portraits. I really liked that side even more. It was almost like a timeline of his life. But we weren't able to show that one in the video just because the green wasn't the master's green. But like keep in mind, tape only comes in like certain colors, you know. It's not like paint where you can go color match and get like the
mhm.
specific colors. You'd have to like put in some custom order to get crazy colors. So it's
Interesting.
something else that just I learned from that project of like sometimes people need specific colors and you don't have them.
Yeah. I'm curious to
hmm
know what that side looks like. Are you able to show it today, or is it still kind of like, nah, you can't?
Um, I mean, I could show you. I don't have it on me right now to like show the stream, which I'm
Hmm.
sure like now being it's like a few years past. I could probably show it. I don't know.
Hmm. I'm also
hmm
curious to know if they ever took that off, because I think it'd be a. I think they still might be rocking it. Like if dude's driving it, like, because I don't see why they
Who
would
knows?
take it off. Like, because that was the
I
whole
don't know.
thing.
Right. Yeah, I'm curious because he had a whole like reveal video that it was like on all these like golf sites where it's like they had the car covered and he like unveiled it and was like, wow. But who knows?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Do you have any like dream duct tape projects?
Yeah, I've actually like been trying to manifest this to like happen and I want to kind of blend both my worlds of oh, excuse me, if you hear crying, that's my dog. um
It's a dog friendly podcast. Don't worry.
yeah. Um what is it? So I wanted to blend like my new world of like doing murals with duct tape. So somehow make like I don't know how hard that would be to like make a duct tape mural somewhere. It'd have to be indoor because obviously if it's outdoor, like it'll wear off eventually. But a duct tape mural, I think, it's in the works in the future somehow or some way.
Yeah, depending on like the size of the wall. I mean, you could run through like how much tape are you running through on certain projects? Like, are you just like burning through rolls or like,
Um, like yes and no. Sometimes like tape does go a long way because you only need like so little. It depends on the size, I'd say. So it's like if you have a big solid color and it's like a bigger piece, you're gonna roll through tape pretty fast. So it depends, but I mean it lasts pretty long,
mm.
so
have
it's
you
not too bad.
have you ever thought of doing? Have you ever heard of screen tones?
I have not.
It's an old. It's like what people used to do for like shading comics back in the day, like before the digital, like before you
Oh,
could
you're
just
talking about
start
like
adding half,
CMYK,
kind of,
like
sorta, like the little
huh?
halftone, the little dots.
Right. Okay, yeah. I did that in what was it? Screen printing class before when I
Hmm.
was in college. Yeah, I did that. It was like a more realistic. It was actually a Good Burger shirt that I made, but it was like the
Oh,
CMYK halftones to make all the colors. So I was like, I feel like that would be a good idea, except halftones would be such a nightmare in tape because you have to like cut every little layer. Or I feel like it would be best with like some kind of transparent tape.
yeah, and that's
But
but
I
that's
have
what
some
it is.
ideas that I wanted to try. Yeah. Uh-huh.
But that's the like the halftones are already like
Mhm.
sticky sheets of paper, and like you can cut them
Right.
out and put them on stuff. Like you don't even have to print them. Like with the
Oh,
screen
like they
printing.
have sheets like that?
Yeah. Like
Oh,
I have some over here. They're literally like you said, like transparent, just sticky, just like
yeah.
sheets. And you can just peel it
Oh.
off and then you put them down, you cut it out, and it's literally like a shade. Because I know that you
Oh, you
use a
might have
lot
to
of like the
yeah,
cutting. Yeah, I'll let you have a
for
couple of
sure.
pieces,
Yeah.
and like I'm curious to
Yeah,
know
or
what
like
you
send
would
me the
make
link.
with.
I definitely would use that because I'm like even just I'm starting to try different tapes. Like different tapes have different textures. And like even not all brands of duct tape like rip the same or they'll like come apart. So I was like incorporating other things and other textures like that, like something that would be more transparent and like shiny would be like super dope. Because I
Mm,
do have some like ideas I wanted to try. I wanted to do like a 3D thing where it would work like two pictures with the red and blue glasses. Um,
interesting.
Stuff like that where I just haven't had the time, like the free time to test it out and like experiment. But that sounds cool. Where I definitely want to try that out. Yeah, let me borrow some. Yeah,
Yeah, it's not as
yeah,
durable as the duct tape, but it does stick
hmm
very well to like just sheets of
yeah,
paper and stuff like that. But yeah,
cool.
for sure.
hmm
Have you ever thought of, in terms of duct tape, have you ever gotten in contact with like any big tape brand? Have you ever tried to do like a partnership or any type of
I've
sponsorship?
Yeah, I haven't gotten sponsored exactly, but I have reached out for like when I do bigger projects. It was for the Mercedes-Benz one because I knew I needed a lot of tape, and I thought some brand like that was the first time I ever reached out to a brand. There's two brands that actually gave me free tape. They like I guess sponsored that project and gave me all my material for free. And that's Gaffer Power, which is the gaffer tape I needed for under so it doesn't stick. And also Create Tape, and I think they're based out of the UK. And it's a different texture. Like they're both almost like fabric based tape, which I use a lot in like if I do a portrait of clothing, instead of duct tape that's like shiny, I'll use like gaffer tape or the Create tape. Because it gives it like a more matte like fabric texture. So that was the only time. But I was like, I'm majority of the time I'll use Duck brand. And I was like, shoot, if they're watching, sponsor.
Yeah, man, shoot. You rep them hard
Yeah.
enough. I'm surprised
hmm
they're not
But I
already.
actually I know, right? Yeah, but I've like talked to them online for things where I've pitched them an idea of doing like a duct tape gallery, or like a
Oh,
gallery show of just duct tape artists from around the globe. Because it's like it's such a small like niche material where I was like, I feel like we all follow each other, people who use tape a lot for their materials. I feel like it's bigger in the UK, but I was like, if there was some kind of big art show where it was just all tape artists, I pitched that to them, but I don't even remember. That was like 3 years ago. I don't even remember what happened. But
dang. That would
so
be
it's like
so
they know
cool.
me, Duck Brand knows, but I don't know if they sponsor me.
That's half the battle. That's
hmm
half the battle. They know who
Yeah.
you are, so
Yeah,
at
yeah.
least
So,
they watching somehow.
Yeah, because they've reposted some of my stuff. And then actually across their headquarters is in Ohio.
Okay.
And across the street there's a what is it? Cane's, Raising Cane's restaurant. And Raising Cane's, because it's in the like vicinity of the duct tape headquarters, they contracted me to do a piece that's up in their restaurant. So it was like a giant Cane's duct tape portrait. So I was like,
Oh, so it's,
somebody who works at someone who works at Duck Brand has to go eat for lunch and see it, right? Yeah.
yep. Somebody's in
So
there. Like it's working. And
yeah,
it's, I bet it's gonna be one moment where like it's like right here. And somebody's gonna fill in that last little gap and it's all gonna be like, she's been over here. They're gonna remember the email, they're gonna remember the portrait. Like it's all just gonna flood them all at once, I'm sure.
hopefully, I was like, "We'll manifest that." It's something. I at least just wanna see their headquarters or something, or that show, like, How It's Made, like, I
Oh
would geek
yeah.
out if I just saw, like, tape stuff, like, "Let me see."
Yeah. Tape getting
Yeah.
made from the source. What?
Mhm.
That is so cool. Then it probably give you like
Yeah.
one of those huge rolls like before they cut it down
Right? That
into
would be
smaller ones.
sick, like, I would love that. Let me get a giant roll, or, like, let me custom design a roll or something.
Oh man, have your own
Right?
like actual your own actual
That
duct
would be
tape roll would
sick.
be
Yeah.
crazy.
Mhm.
Man. Ugh, man, we putting that out there. Putting that out there to
Yeah, duct tape
manifest.
art collabs. Yeah.
Mhm.
Artist series tape, come on.
Yep. Oh,
Yeah,
what?
that
That
would
would
be
be
sick.
so lit. Dang it. Dang it. Yeah. Somebody gotta reach out to them. Somebody has to see. It has to become a real thing at some point. So, okay, in terms of, I'm also curious to know, in terms of your skill, like, because I mean you have such a unique style and there's so much there's so much skill to it. Like you can tell that like you know what you're doing. It's not like, oh, I'm just playing around, just doing whatever. Like you can tell that you've been at this for a while. And I'm curious to know if there was any points where you got like your art reps from. For example, in terms of the duct tape art, like would the would like the mini wallets that you made for your classmates be like where you kind of got swole in your tape craft, and like
Mm.
what other ways did you strengthen your craft over the years? Were there certain jobs or certain just things you used to do on a consistent basis?
Oh, that's a good question, and thanks for saying that too, because I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. Sometimes I feel like I'm just playing or going with um, I don't think there was a actual pivotal point, honestly. It was just to keep doing it or like consistent, just being consistent with like trying new things, experimenting, and like be just being continual with like the craft, even if it's like murals and duct tape. There, I don't even think now there would be a point where I'd be like, I'm a pro at this, because it's always just like playing around and figuring it out. Because even like like any project always comes with something that's difficult. So I was like,
Mm-hmm.
just going with it. Just
So
having fun. That's why I always say my tagline's always like, I just like to make stuff.
I
Not
mean, it's simple though. It makes
yeah.
sense,
Mm-hmm.
and like and it's accurate. I mean, you
But
like to make stuff, you know.
yeah.
So then, what is the difference between if you don't see yourself as a professional? What's the difference between you and a professional?
Oh, that's a hard question. Because I mean, I guess I would say on a technical aspect, just having contracts and working with people like clients, like that is a professional. But I feel like when you think of like what you want to do or other artists, like you think of the OGs, like big names and what they do. It's like you just aspire to like do all those things, but you don't realize when you're actually doing it.
For sure.
So I don't know. I couldn't even say, because it's like I'm a professional, but I also just enjoying my craft, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Do you have any of those art supermen, superwomen that you look up to? Especially, I'm curious to know if you have anybody like that in the duct tape realm, because I mean, you're the best duct tape artist I know. So if you have somebody that you're like, no, that person over there is the killer, or like, are any people that inspired you like that across the way that are just super good in their craft?
Honestly, for duct tape, I just started like with Instagram. I started recently like finding other artists, but there wasn't ever an artist in that craft or with that material to look up to, because there wasn't any. At least that I grew up with like knowing. So I feel like as a young kid thinking of duct tape as like manual vector art, or even treating it as like the way people do stencils, because it's a lot of like cutting out shapes and layering things. I
Mhm.
used to look up to Shepard Fairey, just his
Mm,
style and the way he layered all his stencils. I would think of that same like stencil and layering for my pieces. Since his colors were like a limited palette also, I felt like that was a good example of um, how I'd think of tape, even though it wasn't tape. That was probably the closest like big name that I knew when I was a kid.
mhm. Cool.
Yeah. But
Very
now I
cool.
was like, I feel like anytime I look up to people, because I've only really been painting murals for like what, since 2022, probably, which is, so I'm like,
Really?
it's fairly new. It's only been 3 years. Yeah.
Dang.
So I literally have looked up to even you, like everybody, and then now I just hang out. Like everybody really more so becomes friends than anything, and then that's how we all like learn together. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Mhm.
then
Like
what
I did fangirl first. I'm like, whoa, I'm a fangirl. All these people are so good, and now they're just friends, and we can paint together.
isn't
Yeah.
that so
Mhm.
cool to be able
Mhm.
to I feel like Atlanta especially has a way of leveling out the playing field. Like there's
Mhm.
people who like this is their second day out here, and then there's people it's like it's their 20th year out here, and they're able to like
Yeah.
sit shoulder to shoulder a lot of times.
Mhm.
And I think that it makes for a really nice community where like even the OGs they have wiggle room to like switch up their style,
Yeah.
to try something new, or to even give back and teach people that are coming up behind them.
Mhm.
And then like the younger people or the newer people also just get like access to a well of knowledge. And it's like that,
Mhm.
I think that's one of the coolest things about our community. And like there's ego everywhere, but at least for our community, we kind of put a lot of those things aside when we all come together like that. Like we're able to just sit and talk and see each other as like just people, you know. I think
Right.
that's like the
Mhm.
coolest thing. And you don't get that in a lot of cities. Like
No,
I've
it's
gone to
very rare. Yeah. Mhm.
yeah, like I've
'Cause
gone to
even
different
even, like
cities and go for it. You got it.
yeah, yeah. Oh, I was just saying, like, even first starting, I was, like, not having any knowledge of doing murals specifically, like, going it's really, like, if you go out to events and you wanna do that, everybody is so welcoming and, like, will teach you stuff. Literally, like, the first time I helped Killamari because I wanted to learn spray, he literally I was on the boom lift with him, like, in the air, and he was like, "Practice right here." It was like a real client, like, that you could see off I think it was, what is it, for Pandora? He literally let me
Oh
practice
yeah.
like, spray skills because 'cause I've never spray painted before on his actual piece. I was like, "That's crazy."
Yeah. That
Yeah, and
lift?
then you too, you would yeah, and it was the cherry picker. What is that called? The boom lift? Yeah.
Yeah. Yep, yep, yep.
Yeah, yeah. So, that was crazy, which we got stuck in, by the way, but that's a different story.
Y'all got stuck in the lift? Was it like did it
Like,
die or something?
temporarily. No, I think it was uneven because it was me, him, and Ara, and it was,
Mhm.
like, unbalanced, so it did, like, a safety thing because it was unbalanced, and we got stuck at the top for a little bit, so
Woo!
but it was fine. It's a
And
learning thing.
and when you're that high up, I mean, the sway,
Yeah.
you move one time and you're like, you're like going way
Oh,
back and
yeah,
way forth.
those ones are scary. I definitely prefer scissor lifts, yeah, but yeah.
Really, I feel like the boom lift, you can get right there. Like with a scissor lift, you can
You can.
only if like the
Yeah.
ground is like level and the wall is flat, but like if it's something else,
No,
I like a
you're right.
boom lift
Mhm. Yeah,
because
'cause I
yeah,
have had a lot of trouble with, like, uneven ground where the lift doesn't go up all the way, like, always, but I
yeah.
like scissor lifts because 'cause they're, like, easier to drive. Like, I don't trust myself maneuvering a boom lift. It's scary. I like
Yeah,
it, but it's scary.
it's a lot of moving parts. You got like the first part of the arm and like the second part, and then uh-oh, I'm
Mhm.
zooming in.
Oh, oh,
Hold
how
on,
did
let me
you
get
do that?
back. I got
Can
these controls. I got controls on my webcam, and every now and then I do like these hand gestures, and it like wakes itself
Oh,
up. But yeah,
that was
makes
funny.
for nice little comedic break sometimes. But yeah, um, yeah, those I don't know something about the scissor lifts. Like if anytime I'm ever working with them, like if it's on a hill, and then the thought of
Mm,
like being on a hill and then having to go up like off of that
mhm.
hill, it's like, ugh, it just makes me itch because I'm like, after a certain height, I'm like, I'm leaning too hard. You know, I can't
Yeah, I
even,
do feel that.
ugh, I don't like it. But,
And then most of the time, you're, like, hanging off the side of it when we're painting.
mm-hmm, yep.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But, um, I am curious to know, to go back a little bit to your story. We, um, how did you go from California to Atlanta? Or did you go straight from California to Atlanta? Were there any places in between?
So I went to college at Academy of Art, for industrial design and switched to graphics. Because, side note, I'm not very good at math, so I changed to graphics instead of industrial design. And from there, I was like, I met my husband, David, who was in TV. I can't even think of what it's called anymore. It was film, their film program at Academy of Art. So we met there, and then he was in the military, so he was like stationed in Fort Stewart. So after we got married, we ended up in Fort Stewart. So that's how I ended up in Georgia, and then
Mhm.
moved to Atlanta because I got a job here at a news company.
Well, cool.
Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. So
Mhm.
then, hmm. So how did you go about building your like career, your freelance art career here in the city? And also, had you gotten a any momentum in your art career when you were on the West Coast, like before you left?
Um, I feel like when I was in the West Coast, like even for school, I didn't have that community. Like even though I was in an art school that was like in San Francisco, we're in the city. Majority of the art shows that I knew about was like gallery based, where it's like you had to have a name already. It's like a little bit more uppity. I didn't. Maybe it's just because I didn't find that community there. That it wasn't really like for me. I didn't find like muraling and like my art space and community until I got to Atlanta. Um, but yeah, it was starting here. I think some of the first, I did a couple galleries at first, and then I met some of our other friends like Luke from your last show, which invited me to be in like a couple galleries when I got here. But what really the pivotal moment for me, Living Walls actually reached out, and I don't even remember like before that if I was just like cool with everybody, but I remember they just shot me a message, and they wanted me to design a mural for Buford Highway, because you know they're so good at matching people with pieces or clients that like really resonate and have like a meaning to it. So that piece they wanted to highlight all the Buford Highway like foods, and this was I think this was 2022 or 2021. That was my first big outdoor mural. And I told them I don't have experience doing like outdoor murals. Like I've done a few smaller indoor murals for Atlanta Run Club when um, they used to have a gym in Doraville, and then also Mukja, the Korean chicken restaurant. And those were just like for friends. Like I knew them, so they invited me to like paint smaller indoor murals. So this was my first like very large outdoor mural, and I told them I didn't know. I was most of my pieces were usually black and white because I was scared of color. Um, but Living Walls was like, we'll teach you. So they had they were there the whole time every day, like teaching me how to paint this large mural. And then after that, it was just like it took off from doing the Buford Highway mural. People kept reaching out. Disney reached out. And then I think my next mural after that, which technically would have been like my second largest or my second outdoor like full color mural, was right after the Buford Highway one. So I went like to Orlando and painted that the same year.
That's
So I was like,
crazy.
after that, I was like, yeah, I gotta keep going. Like this is for me. Yeah.
There's something really special about when somebody's willing to take that chance with you, because I mean, to work with a company like Living Walls, there's so much that someone feels like they need to have ready. And you gotta have this big portfolio and you gotta have all this experience and
Right.
all these skills. And then here you are, and you're like, yo, I've never done this. And that wall
Mhm.
is
And I
massive.
told them that. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Mhm.
that's a huge project. And the fact that you were able to still work this project and that they were able to teach you and be there with you. What do you think that was? Like what why there were so many other artists in the city who could have done a
Right.
mural, but and
I
then
know,
here
I
you
think
come
about
with
that all the
no
time too. I
experience.
don't
And it's
Yeah, I
fascinating
had,
to me.
like, very minimal experience. I think they're just really good at, and shout out to them, they're having their 15-year anniversary, next is it next month? They're having a quinceañero. But
Hey.
I think that they're just really good at matching people whose art style will resonate with whatever they're doing. So that one, since it had to do with food and it was Buford Highway, there was I at that time I think it was 2020 was crazy. So I did a lot of like artivism, like art with like purpose and like kind of call to action, a lot of cultural stuff, a lot of
Mhm,
whatever things were happening in the
mhm,
world at that time. So I think they saw that I like to put a lot of meaning in my pieces and I
mhm.
like to do a lot of cultural pieces. So that together, and I'm assuming I actually never asked. I was just really happy to be there. um, but I feel like they saw my work as like I'm able to communicate all of the I guess cultures and food on Buford Highway and put that into a design. So it was like a lot of back and forth and sending them designs based off what they wanted to showcase. And that's why that was one of my favorite too, because it's like painting food and painting letting people see their cultures in the wall is like one of my favorite things. Is like having people be seen too. So it worked
Mhm.
out. Yeah, but yeah, I didn't submit an art. There was no art call or anything. They reached out and then they're the best. Yeah.
Mhm.
hmm
I guess that's something. I guess it speaks to the power that your work had at the time. Like there was some. I think I was talking to somebody else about this, where there's a certain level. Um, I call it undeniably dope, but it's essentially the point where you're so skilled that people make exceptions for you. Like things that other people would normally have to have or have to include, your work is that good to where they're like, we have to we'll we'll figure it out. Just come on through if you're down. And it's cool whenever you're able to to make work that speaks to people like that. I think that especially with those call to action pieces, um, you just never know how they'll hit people. And
hmm
like, man, it's I just think that's like amazing and fascinating that like that they're able to like they saw that and believed in what you had to say and the type of work you like to make and was able to like to pull that off, you
Put it
know?
together. Yeah. I mean, I'm amazed too because I was like, that was literally the. I would say that's my like launching point of like even claiming to be a muralist. So I was
Mhm.
like, thanks to Living Walls. But yeah, it was if 2020 didn't happen and I didn't keep just drawing whatever I thought was important or people needed to know, yeah, that probably all wouldn't have gone the way it was. So
It just happens that way sometimes, like
it
having to
it
just
just
stay
lines
diligent.
up. Mhm.
So what kind of like what kind of I'm sure that there were certain points in the middle where you're like, what in the world is going on? Or like, did you have any moments where you were just like freaking out? Did you have any like mini crash outs or anything like that in the middle of the project?
Of that specific mural.
Yeah.
I think at one point I was like, weather was crazy. Honestly, I don't even think I had any real crash outs because I had such a good like system. I had Ash with me and I had Ara with me. So I was like, Ara was also new. Like she's never painted a mural. That was her very first. And I asked her to be my assistant. So it was like us two learning together, which kind of made it easier where it's like I didn't have any crash outs because we were both learning together, where it's like we could do it. And she's pretty like reliable also. So I was like, even just being there and people from the neighborhood would and like the nearby plaza would come bring us food. I was like, I was chilling. Like I was vibing. I had no problems. Yeah.
That's
Mhm.
beautiful. Man.
Yeah.
Have you experienced okay, well then had you experienced any others? Maybe the first time that you had to do a mural when it was on you, like for the most part, when it's like basically you and your assistants, do you have any real like turbulence that you were like, oh shoot, how am I gonna how am I
A
gonna
little
figure this
crash out.
out?
Well,
Yeah.
we had a collab for Forward Warrior last year.
Oh my God.
And on our wall, I'll tell them, we designed it was like a burger slider. It was like this giant burger of art supplies. But I have what is it, short throw projector. So usually it's supposed to make it a lot easier. It only has to be 10 inches from the wall where you can project and like outline everything. But it doesn't hit the bottom of the wall. So it's like a little bit elevated from the way it projects. But we wanted the whole thing to sit like on the ground all the way up. So in order to make that work, we were like trying to figure it out. Like we were like we needed an extra extension cord. It was the middle of the night. Like there's just so many little things that always can go wrong. Um, but we had a scaffolding, so we climbed on the top of the scaffolding and like I ended up turning the projector upside down and holding it in place the entire time so that we can get the projector in the right spot to like hit the ground while Cam sprayed the whole thing. Like it was literally upside down, like on the top of a scaffolding that was maybe what 4 or 5 stories high. It's
Uh
just
it
interesting,
was
like weird
some
things that happen like that.
yeah, you just have to like
Yeah.
that's the part I think is so like that's the part that doesn't make the the real a lot of times, or that's the part that
Yeah.
people don't speak on, but it's very
Mhm.
necessary because had we not done that, we would probably had to spend the
You
whole
wouldn't get
first day
it.
like doing a
Yeah.
doodle grid or something, and it would have
Right.
just put a whole nother wrench in the system. And I think
Mhm.
it's important
And
to like see
every
those.
project. Yeah, yeah, for sure. And
Y-
even like I think one of the I want to say not craziest, but like it took the most time to recover. And that one maybe I crashed out a little bit. Um Paint Memphis last year. Was it last
Oh,
year?
okay.
Anyways, Paint Memphis, I got a giant under the bridge like wall with columns in the front, so it was like double-sided, right? Um so there was so many like this is a mural festival, so there's so many of us and they like label the walls, but the picture that they sent me specifically had somebody else's from previous year, like it had like lines on it. So I started painting on that wall and I got really far. Right? It was me and Zaldi Paints, Nicole. So she was like out there helping me and we had done a doodle grid on the wall that was in the email photo. But tell me why that was the wrong wall.
Oh
We got
no.
far. Like it was lined, so it was already complicated with a pattern. We did a doodle grid on top, got far like in the day. And then for the lady to come and be like, that's not the right wall. Like they should have given you a picture of the other wall behind it. So we had to scrap everything and start over on the next wall. And mind you,
God.
this festival's only 3 days. And then I used like so many cans already on the other wall. Like it already had like a face. So she gave us more cans, luckily. And then I was like, it's a mural festival, it's fine. Like, we were just out here to have fun anyway. And like, it was my first mural festival. So, like, meeting everybody, it was just like a little bit of crash out because I was like, can I finish this on time? Like,
Mm-hmm.
luckily, I brought Nicole with me because otherwise I would not be able to finish that, especially having to start over on a giant wall. Um, but it worked out. It was fun. And I'm going
Yeah.
back this year.
Hey, shout out Nicole, man. Like
Yeah.
she,
I think
yeah,
I see
like
her in there. Hi, Nicole.
hey, yeah, it's
Mhm.
man, that's crazy. I would have been like, I would have sooner tried to fight the case of like whoever's wall I painted over, give them my wall, cause like I
Yeah,
can't. I'm too far. I'm too
for
far
real.
in.
It was
Yeah.
far in because I guess so it was a local guy. So there was like 3 spaces under the bridge, right? So I had the first space and 2 other artists had the other, but a local guy got the whole entire space on the other side where I originally painted. So
Mm-hmm.
because his wasn't like a section, he got like the full thing. He needed that full
Uh,
section. So I couldn't like
uh,
switch with him. Yeah. I just was like, "Oh well, I'm already out here. Like I could be sad and complain, or I can just continue on." So we just kept going. But I was literally like, who sent these emails? Like,
yeah, that's
yeah,
crazy.
we made
Like
it
that's
work.
a yeah, and that I mean that it be
Yeah.
like that sometimes.
hmm
Like
And then
for
that was my first, like, my full, first full, what is it called? Spray paint piece, minus the lines.
hmm,
But I'm
oh
learning.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
shoot. I
Mhm.
mean, that piece came out really cool too. I'll put it
Thanks.
I'll put it in the video, like in post and stuff like that. But
Mm,
just so people
yeah.
can see. But like that wall was massive. It was like a whole like you said, it was like an underpass, like a bridge.
Yeah, it was the underpass. It was huge because it was like 4 columns and like the back wall. So it was really like doing 2 full murals, kind of.
Yeah. I mean, that's a couple, depending on because sometimes the mural is just like that one post,
Yeah,
or
you're
like
right.
the one section on the wall. So I mean it was
So really it was like 5 walls, like
yeah, like a whole team's
Mm,
worth of work.
yeah, right. But
So
glad to get like, I was really glad to get that section though, because the selection for the walls at that festival, it's like some of them were not the best. Like some were like on the ground. That's I was like, I'll definitely take the under the bridge one. So
yeah, the walls vary. They vary.
yeah,
They got all kinds of different ones, and like that's a festival that I want to participate in one day.
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Just had some trouble getting into that one, but I don't know. I won't speak too much on it, but definitely want to get into it one day.
It's closest
Um,
we could all carpool.
yeah, yeah, because
Mhm.
Memphis is what, like
It's like 4 hours.
4 hours,
It's not too
5 hours,
bad.
something like
You
that.
go to
Hmm.
Bucky's on the way.
Man, that place is
Crazy.
magic, magic.
Mhm.
Like I can't pass it without stopping. At least the one
Right?
that's like right there,
Yeah.
like in like
I don't even
Calhoun or
get gas
something.
when I go.
Oh,
I
never
just
gotten
go. Yeah.
gas. I wish they had
Yeah.
one close. Can you imagine living close to one?
I know.
I would be in that mug every
It's like
day.
it's ridiculous.
I would be in there every single day. Um, okay. So I'm curious to know, since we were on the subject of like challenges and in the mural space, were there any particular challenges that you experienced or that you had to overcome in either your artistic career or just in your life over the course of you like growing up and becoming this creative? Were
Mhm.
there any things that were just like particularly challenging to get through?
Um, yeah, definitely. I think guess a pivotal one that I always think back on. Um, so when I would like how I told you my goal was to work at Disney and do all these, just be there. I did the college program, and then after I worked at the college program, which is like you take a semester from college and work at the park. So I used to work in like Animal Kingdom Lodge and like run the ride. Not Lodge, but Animal Kingdom, the dinosaur, the ride. That's where I worked for a little bit.
Okay.
But then after that, I got offered a professional internship, which was the goal to, the ladder. I got a professional internship for Disney's Yellow Shoes, and that's more of their marketing side. And then a little bit before my internship was supposed to start, they messaged me and was like, I was actually short 2 credits, so that they had to revoke their offer. And I was like distraught. I was like, that would have been my in. Like I bought Yellow Shoes.
Oh
um,
man.
yeah, I really like wanted that to be a thing. So instead, like I feel like that was you know, an obstacle. I mean, it was just a few college credits. So I was like, I did go back to school and get those few credits to apply again later, but then I didn't get Yellow Shoes. But instead, I got Walt Disney Imagineering, which is even better than Yellow Shoes.
Mm,
So it's just one of those things where it's like, even though I was really down, like I was like sad, like I really, really wanted to get that internship. It ended up with a better one. And that's an internship that's like, I still have those friends. I got to work where things that I designed are still in the park,
mm,
even though I was there for a shorter time.
mhm.
And then the connections that I made when I worked at Imagineering, they that allowed me to get invited and do a mural at Disney World. So it's like a full circle of like, it just gets better and it goes along with, even though I don't work there now, I'm still able to like leave something that brings joy in the park, So,
For sure. Are
but
there any
yeah,
things that
that's
we can
definitely it
see?
was.
Oh, I didn't mean to
Yeah.
cut you off. Go for it.
Oh no, no, you're good. Mostly Disney Springs. If you go to the Ganachery, it's a chocolate shop, and I worked on the typography that's in the back of the. It's like part of the aesthetic. There's like sayings about chocolate, and they're like done in like hand lettering, and those are in frames in the back of the Ganachery. And then also they still sell one of my designs on the mugs and the cups.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
then I worked on like a wreath that's on the ceiling of Amorette's, which is a bakery in Disney Springs, as well as the Disney Springs mural that's currently there. And then, I mean, when I was there, you just do some random things. So I was like, I probably did the like random signs here and there, but they're not like specifically designed. They're just like you helped work on it. But those are the main ones that you could probably still see in the park. And this was like years ago.
But
Yeah,
isn't that
hopefully, yeah.
hopefully what?
Oh, I was saying hopefully I like another thing I wanted to manifest or a project that I want to do is to get invited or I guess go to their they have a arts festival in Epcot. So, hopefully one of
Really?
these days I get invited to the arts festival
Ooh.
in Epcot because I really want to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or
Man.
maybe like have art in one of their galleries there, like because they have Disney artists where they're like contracted to make like specific Disney pieces, and you can buy those prints and stuff in their galleries. So I was like,
Mhm.
maybe tape Disney or something, or go to the art festival. That's more of those stuff that I'm trying to be there.
I'll manifest
Mhm.
that too. Go and put that out there.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I can only imagine. So, okay, tell me a little bit about the Imagineering days. Like, I'm not entirely sure what it means to be an Imagineer, and I'm curious to know how that experience was for you, and then like what kind of impact it had on your career eventually.
Dream job. I compare everything to it. So what it is, it's the people who designs for like parks, resorts, and cruise lines. So an Imagineer, like when you think of them or see them on TV, they're the ones who like design the rides and make the concepts and do the park like environmental signage. So I was there as an intern. So I was only there for about a year, and then I could have continued as like a project hire, but I went back to like live at home. It was a just didn't stay at Disney after that. But when I was there, I got to design things for like just signs that are in the park. There's like festivals that's going on, so you can do like signs for festivals. A lot of the time, it was like the best people. I still am in contact with a lot of the people I worked there with, and they're just very influential and amazing. They are so talented, and a lot of the times, um, the people you work with would put you on projects that you would be good at, like with your skill set. And then sometimes if you had to like do something for a ride, even if it was like something small, or like make like I don't know, a page for something or like a sign for something, you have to go measure it in the park. So you used to be able to just like borrow, we call them pargos, like the go-karts and stuff, and just ride around like the backstage of the parks and go like into rides and like walk into them when it was like closed and things like that to just take measurements. It was just really cool to be in the behind the scenes part. So I
Sure.
feel like I took that and like knowing what I want out of my workplace also, and like taking those skill sets and being able to be more creative in a corporate aspect, I guess. Because even though I don't work in the parks now, I still try to incorporate all like the things we did there in my current job, even though it's like
Mhm.
less creative specifically, but still like doing graphics and things like that.
Yeah. So, hmm, were there any points during that time where you learned like a specific thing that that you even still reference like to this day? Like for an example, I have like certain projects or even whenever I look back at like certain people I've met and they've taught me like one thing. And that one thing will still kind of like ring in my head as I make designs and things today. And in terms of how you approach your artwork, were there any things that you learned there, like very specifically, that still influence you?
Um, I feel like there they did a lot of like there was a lot of inspiration, like to get inspired and not just mood boarding. Like they'd
Hmm.
have, if a new project was coming up or a new ride was being built, they'd have like people from all different departments kind of be in this meeting where we can all draw and like kind of like mind vomit. Like you kind of just draw everything you can possibly think of just to figure out like these are like a wide variety of concepts and ideas for this new project. And I feel like I still do that because we used to do something also called, and this is like unofficial, like this is me and like friends at work. They would do a doodle, which is a lunch doodle. We'd
Hmm.
go into the park at lunch and just draw people. And like things like that, I still do now, where it's like I feel like it's team building, it's exploring, and it's like giving yourself the time to just figure stuff out without being too like having too many boundaries, because sometimes too many boundaries it'll like already put you in a box, and
Hmm.
just like writing everything out, like I'd make a lot of lists, make a lot of doodles, kind of put them together, get ideas, and it just helps like get the vibe and the research before you do any project.
Hmm. I should definitely
Mhm.
do
So
some of
it's not,
those.
yeah.
Like anytime that I let myself just kind of run, I call it like letting the horse run free for a
Yeah.
sec and then like then calling it back to see like, okay, like what did we
Right.
learn? Those I
Mhm.
usually come up with like some of the most satisfying ideas
Yeah.
after just letting everything just kind of run. Cause if not,
Mm.
you're trying to work on one thing and then like it's like pulling, like it's like the horse is pulling, and it's like I want to go
Right.
over here first. I want to
'Cause you
explore
have
this
those
real quick.
rules. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah. Mhm.
that's so crazy to like
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. Like, and I think even just being able to think without bounds, you're able to at the end of the day kind of find different things and put them together that you wouldn't normally, that you definitely wouldn't have picked had you
Mhm.
like stuck with one, you know.
Yeah. Or, like, already went too focused in on, like, what like, even if you're working on a client stuff, like, if you focus on too much of, like, what they said without exploring everything else, you're already putting yourself in a box. So and then I
Absolutely.
noticed that too with, like, just being older and majority of the time when I'm making something, it's for a client or it's a project. Like, I rarely have the time to do something fun, like a passion project that's, like, completely for no reason. Um, like, I went home recently, like, I just got back from my trip to California, and looking at my old room, I was looking through sketchbooks, and I felt like I was way more creative. Like, the stuff I
Mm,
would draw was just all over the place, and, like, the layouts were crazy, and it was, like, all these different, like, styles all mashed together, and now it's, like, you kinda reel it in because 'cause you're like, "There's a client, there's this is like a style, like, this is how they'd want it." It's not as crazy as I used to draw before, and I thought it was so much more creative to, like, look at my sketchbook then versus now,
yeah.
which is interesting. Yeah.
How'd that make you feel
Mhm.
about like your work and like how you are as a designer? Like, did you feel like, damn, like should let loose, or what'd you think about that?
Yeah, totally. I think that's why I was thinking excuse my dog. I was thinking about that recently just from seeing, being able to look at my sketchbook. And like I feel like I had so many good ideas there that I would want to like um see again or like touch back on. But
Mhm.
yeah, now it is a little harder just because there's less time as you get older to do more fun stuff. Like it's less of a hobby and almost more of a job, but you kind of want to keep it as more of a passion project. Um, yeah.
Mhm. Having to try
Mhm.
and find the time and the space to do it all. It's like a
For
huge
sure.
challenge too.
That it's
Um,
that balance. Mhm.
yeah, for sure. I'm curious also about, you said that you had to leave. You said that you had the opportunity to stay on as an Imagineer, but you had to leave. Why'd you leave your dream job?
Well, it was more so a project hire is a temporary spot, so it wasn't full time. And
Okay.
so for me, I had just gotten married and we were living in Fort Stewart, which is 4 hours in Georgia. And I was living in Orlando so that I could do this like crazy internship because it's been my dream.
Mhm.
So just to be able to like having to be away from home and stay in Orlando for like a temporary spot that wasn't full time just
Mm.
wasn't like as worth it to me. And also Florida rain is not my favorite,
Oof,
to be
yeah.
honest. Yeah, even though Atlanta is basically just as bad right now. Um, but yeah, there's just other things I wanted to try. And then like even when I went back to Fort Stewart, I ended up like working at a newspaper on post. So learning a whole different aspect of like it was less creative. You're working with like military people, but I was learning InDesign. I was learning how to do layouts and like working with news stuff. And what's funny is like that kind of ties in both of those jobs together, kind of ties into what I do now at like a news company,
Mm.
which is weird. Yeah.
Yeah, each
Yeah.
thing kinda helps all the other
Mhm.
skills you have.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
And so, I think with that theory, I kinda walk around with that belief because it helps me believe, like, there's no wasted time. Like, even if you spend years at, like, some job and, you'll hear about people like, "Man, I wasted 5 years of my life at that job. The job sucks," whatever. But it's like it inspired you to do something a certain way, or it taught you a skill that you still use to this day, and so, like, you didn't really waste any time. No, you didn't get to your spot as quickly as you'd like, but I mean, you're still using, the things that you went through in those times too.
Oh, for sure. There's always lessons and all this stuff, so it all like works out how it's supposed to.
Yeah, good old skill
Yeah.
stacking.
Yeah.
So, let me see. I'm curious about also your about your furry kid. I know that he's like a big part. Like anybody that knows you knows your dog too. And I recently got a dog. Had him for maybe 2 months now, and he's been a big change in
Mm-hmm.
my life, just in terms of like you just have something to look out for now, and like something you're responsible for, and you have to kind of work around him now, and
Yeah.
even just the even just like the companionship or like teaching this like life, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious to know how, for one, is there any interesting story as to how you got him, and then how he changed your life?
Yeah, I'm obsessed with my dog. So Pepe, it's young Pepe Holmes on on Instagram. Um, yeah, he's like my muse. I draw him everywhere. That's my son, my fur child. But yeah, when we got married, I always like I'm a dog person. I love dogs, like all dogs, animals in general. So when I was actually in, like how I said, I was working in Disney doing my like dream internship. And then my husband was at Fort Stewart, so 4 hours away. So he came to visit me on a weekend or like on a 4 day that he had, and he had this puppy in the car, which was crazy because we used to send each other like different Craigslist ads of like, look at this dog and look at this dog, where he sent me two, and I said one was really cute, and I didn't know that I had picked my dog. So that same day, the puppy was in the car, and then like I just it was me and Pep like living in a hotel when I was at a in Florida, like for my internship. So I was like,
Man.
he's definitely like a cool. So he's an Orlando puppy. Um, like I got him when he was at Disney, and we were both like just learning and growing up together.
Mm. How old was
Yeah,
he?
so I
Was
draw
he
him
like
everywhere.
baby?
Mhm. Oh, he was a baby, like a few months, like I don't know, six, 7 months or something. And he's a Frenchton, so he was like a French bulldog, Boston Terrier puppy.
Hmm.
Cutest thing. Yeah.
And
Hmm.
how was, I mean, especially in a hotel, how were you managing like the puppy tendencies, like, and trying to do work, and like he's getting into everything, and like is he
Yeah.
making noise, is he keeping you up in the night?
Yeah, all of the above. But he was like a tiny, tiny little puppy, and we got him like a big old cage. So it's like he had a his own room there. But it was fun. And then like the people who, because I stayed there for so long when I was doing my internship, where it's like the people who would go in and out would already like know him. So it was definitely like it was fine. Like it was a lot of work going back and forth, especially with the puppy and like training him while you're there and everything, but totally worth it. He's the best. He rings a bell to go potty and everything. Like he's a smart guy.
I see
Mhm.
that you use him as a muse in a lot of your work. Has he been able to make any appearances in like official projects? Have you ever brought him up to like stuff to meet with clients or anything like that?
He goes everywhere. So that dog travels a lot also. So even when me and my husband take trips, like we'll fly with him. He's literally gone to like a wedding, a funeral, a college class. You'll see him in my
Really?
mural. I can't even remember. He's gone through like so many random things, that dog. But can't even remember. Yeah, I painted him recently in East Atlanta Village just because that's his vet is down the street from there because that's like the area that we're kind of in. So I was like, I had to paint him there. I just if I don't know what to draw, that's what I draw.
The default.
Mhm. Yeah,
Mm.
default. So,
And I'm curious to know how you went about taking trips with them, because that's something that like I like to travel a lot,
mm,
and G likes to travel a lot, and like trying to manage that. I mean, our dog's still really young, and so it
right,
might
right.
be a little bit of time just to kind of get
Hmm.
him to get more comfortable with that kind of stuff. Like we still working on the car. Like he he still freaks out
Oh,
in the car sometimes. So I don't know about like, are you all like road tripping them, or do you like put them on the plane, or How do you
Both, yeah. Well, I mean, he's a lot smaller than your dog, so I feel like if you did fly, your dog would have to be, like, checked in and not he can't sit under the seat, which I
No,
feel
no
like is a lot
way.
harder, like, I wouldn't be able to do that, but, like, luckily with Pep, we just put him under the seat, so, like, I just open the top, and as long as his head is sticking out and he just, like he can see you, he's totally fine, like,
Wow.
not a problem. He just and he knows the word, like, airport, so
Mhm.
yeah, I don't
That's
know,
so
I
cool.
don't even think it's a trained thing, like, we didn't train him, he's just chill.
He's just like that.
Yeah, it's like a personality, I think.
Yeah. Hmm, that's cool. That's cool.
Hopefully your
Um,
dog gets used to, car rides soon so you can go on some road trips.
yeah, like, I
Mhm.
think he's pretty good. We go to my mom's house every other week for family dinner, and she's about an hour away, and he that drive gets easier and easier. Like, the first time, he was, like, freaking out a lot, and he'll like, each one, he just kinda, like he'll fuss a little bit, and then he's fine, and then
Mm,
less and less and less, and so I think, he'll get to a point where he'll be fine.
yeah.
He'll be all good. Um, I wanna bring it back to your art again, and I know you mentioned a couple of things and a couple of people, but just in case there were there were any, people missing, I wanted to know if there were any specific people and or, like, companies or just experiences that were particularly pivotal in your journey, and, like, this would not be possible without this person or these people
Mhm.
or anything like that.
I think specifically I've mentioned living walls already. Um, specifically, I would say I probably high contrast. There's the drawing group that we go to, like like meeting Dosa and everybody, like being able to draw. So we all draw on Tuesdays, and that's like been the biggest community for me to like find that niche of people where I feel very free to be like less shy and draw and go do all these things and just be invited to, uh, do like their mural festival and stuff like that and their ink battle. So it's been really cool to just explore and like meet. And everybody's so different from each other. So it's cool to find that circle. So probably a shout out to Dosa and Raz. And also a lot of the projects that I met a lot of these people, like I met Kilimari, I met Ara. It was through oh my gosh, I'm terrible at what things stand for. Triple AF, um,
Oh,
Advanced Asian American Advancing, or no, um, I can't even think of what it stands for right now. I'm blanking out.
not
But it's
too
Triple
sure.
A.
I'll
Yeah,
put it in
Asian.
post.
No, Asian American Advocacy Fund. I do a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
of projects with them. Yeah. So that's how I met Ara, that's how I met, just so many artists. Cause the first time and I feel like the first time I met everybody who started doing murals, like, I met Sanitna, I met Kilimari on this first project. Um, it was doing a coloring book for kids of, like, AAPI people for AAPI month,
Mhm.
which is another, like, impactful thing where it's like we never saw ourselves as kids, so now we get to put people who represent us in the alphabet in books where kids can color them and learn. Um, but that project and that organization definitely was like pivotal for me to like meet the right people and do the right projects. And every year, whenever they have a big project or like literally need anything, I'm always like down to, participate.
Yeah, they always have, like, some really cool projects, like, I always see them either you'll post about them or, like, Ara post about them, or I see Killamari post about them sometimes too, and, like, it's always some
Yeah.
cool stuff going on.
hmm
Mm,
Definitely like bringing out culture and stuff, which is cool. I feel like I learn a lot from them too. And then they work a lot with like college students and things and just have little, gatherings to meet everybody else, like
mhm,
like-minded, like creatives or like the Asian community in Georgia, stuff like that. So super
mhm.
cool.
Yeah.
Mm.
Um, I'm curious about, in terms of your your personal work, I know that you oftentimes will do pieces that nod to your culture, and I'm curious to know what types of cultural values you hope people get from your work, or um what types of things are you putting in that are important to you uh from your culture?
Yeah, I do a lot of because AAPI month is like usually really busy out here, doing a lot of pieces that showcase like my heritage and like what I grew up with. So a lot of that is like Filipino food, Filipino like just things from childhood that are like other people can see themselves in that are not represented as much. And I think being in Georgia versus California has been a lot heavier for me to showcase my culture because it's so diverse in California already. And not saying Atlanta is not diverse, but there's a lot smaller Filipino community or like even like Asian American community. It's like less diverse than where I grew up from. So
Mhm.
it's like important for me now to kind of bring that culture here since the community is smaller and growing. So just showcasing a lot of that. And I long story short, I found out I'm half Filipino. And the
Mm,
other half is like I have like Vietnamese, Chinese, and Thai, which I'm just learning more about those
mm,
cultures too. But growing up, it's just like we were very involved. Like my parents had us very involved in like Filipino community, and like we used to do dances, and we used to be in this theatrical group and learning stuff like that. So I was like, just bringing that out here because there's less of it here. So you'll see a lot of that in my work, and then I feel like when people kind of contact me and ask about that stuff, it's like more impactful because they don't get to see that type of things in Georgia as much. So
yeah.
I just stay with it. Yeah, it's fun to share, and then a lot of people get to learn too because people who aren't, they didn't grow up where I was or aren't Filipino get to learn about other cool things that is new to them, but fun.
Yeah. I think the first time I saw your work in the city, it was at like a show in the underground, and it was the big like the hand. And you're supposed to like, I don't know if you
Yeah,
I can't remember if you kiss the hand or you let it touch your forehead, or
yeah, you let
I
it touch
forget.
your forehead. Yeah, so
Okay.
it's like a blessing to older people or like seniors. So it's called mano. I actually have I don't know if you could see it, the text for it here. I
Oh
don't have
yeah.
the hand, but I have the text. So manopo is it's like a blessing. So when you see like your elders or like your grandparents, you're supposed to like put their hand on your head and kind of like just like bless them.
Mm,
It's like a respect to elders. So I thought that would be like a fun interactive piece that people can do because it's like if you know, you know. And yeah, that was one of the best shows actually. Yeah, so I was like even going back to your last question, Lily, she's a DJ out here and she was the one who put that together, the Kamai show. Um, Kamai also meaning hand in Tagalog, but also is a culture for like Cambodian and like it was a Cambodian Filipino show at the Underground, and Kilmari was also in it. There was a whole bunch of other artists. Jalisa, the Totoo Sari Sari store,
oh, the
and it
thing
was
was
just
so
really
dope.
cool. Yeah, she's crazy. It was just cool to like share our cultures and see the similarities. And yeah, that was one of the craziest. And I'd say that was probably my first like not necessarily solo show, but because we got our own rooms, I was like able to just put all my work out like on display like that. And I was like, that was crazy. Yeah. I didn't think I'd
Yeah.
ever be able to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm,
I
and
don't think it'll
I
be the
met a
last.
lot of good friends there, yeah, at that just for that event. Mhm.
Yeah. I think, I mean, that won't be the last time you'll be able to do something like that. Like if you keep doing what you're doing, I'm sure, because I think your work just has so much uniqueness to it. And I mean, not only just from the medium, but just from the content in itself. I think that people like it's strong enough to be able to carry a space on its own. So like I think it's just a matter of time before somebody else is trying to like, yeah, come in here and just do something cool in here.
Mhm.
um okay, so then also with that, I was curious to know if there was anything in your upbringing from your parents or from your family that was some sort of value that you learned early on that influences you now. um for an example, like my mom, I remember my mom taught us from the very beginning. She would always say like, uh your ideas matter, you matter, like don't let people shoot you down. Don't let people say
Mhm,
that you can't do something. And she told that to
mhm,
us like as long as I can remember. And it got to the point where like when I was drawing in school, there would be times like I wasn't drawing that well, but like I had a really
mhm,
cool idea that I believed in. And it got to the point even not only my classmates, but my teacher was even like laughing at my work and making jokes about my work and stuff. And
damn.
I never took offense to it. I was just like,
Yeah,
give me my work back. This is fire. Y'all are all
mhm,
asleep. And it's because of like that value that I
good.
learned
Mhm,
very early on. And I'm curious to know if you had
mhm.
anything like that in your upbringing. Just because the kind of pathway you've had, I mean, you've had to work so hard and and it seems like you've had a lot of self-belief along the way. And I'm curious to know if that comes from somewhere really early.
Yeah, I think it comes from I'm the youngest of 3. So me and my sister have a big age gap. It's like 9 years and then 6 years. So I think being the youngest definitely helps you learn from your siblings, and also like you have such like support system. So both my parents and then my sister and my brother, since I'm the youngest, everybody's like very supportive of you and like have you doing whatever whatever you set your mind to. But my parents were really good at knowing they're not necessarily pushing us to do like an extracurricular, but they would kind of see what our specific like skill sets are and nurture that. So it's not necessarily like a quote or something said, but like an action. So like for example, like my sister, she's an amazing singer. So she used to sing a lot. And then even when we took a trip to the Philippines, she was offered like a show on like this reality singing show. So we were on vacation, and mind you, like my mom stayed for a whole year so that my sister could do this reality show in the Philippines, because it's like
Wow.
she's good at singing and she wants to sing, so she'll do that. And then my brother, it was a beatboxer, so he used to beatbox, and he's really good at it. So like I think he was like six. He was still in high school. He was 16. Got offered to be in like a beatbox competition or like a championship in Austria, and like my mom took him. She like took him to Austria, and he won the whole thing, which is like super random. And so with me, it's like I really want to draw. I want to work for Disney and do all these things. So it's like they're just supportive. They bought me whatever supplies and things. I went to art school where I didn't have to. Yeah, so
Man, that just like that support and that faith
Mhm.
is like huge. Like staying somewhere for a year so that your
Oh
daughter
yeah,
can
it's crazy.
like that's wild.
From vacation, like that's a big pivotal thing. Like granted, she had like we're all at home and they're over there, so it was like long distance, different time zones. Yeah. So same thing. It's like we all had our random things we were like very hyper focused into.
Mhm.
So mine's art and painting. So and then even my parents, my mom's a flight attendant, so they have free flights. But they came here to help me on one of my community projects.
Mhm.
So when I did a mural in collaboration with Charity and Marta Artbound, where we did the what are those barriers, like bike barriers, um,
Something like that,
in
like
the
the
west
concrete
side.
block thing,
Yeah,
like
it's those
street block.
concrete, like, block things. So we had, like, I think it was a week or 2 weeks where the community can come paint, and, like, they came and painted. Like, they're just down. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
so cool. Yeah, I know
Mhm.
like my dad is one that's super supportive like that. I mean, he was like he was my assistant almost on my first mural. Like he didn't
Oh,
really paint
cute.
anything, but he was there. Like he was there. He just hanging out, just making sure
Mhm.
that like everything was going all right. And I remember my first mural was in a stairwell, and so like there was times where I had to get up and like it's on stairs, so like I can't really use a ladder like I'm supposed to.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I remember he helped me put together like this this like setup that's so crazy to think about now. It was like we put like a couple of books on one side and then like a cinder block and something else on the other side,
Gee,
like on the stair lower
makeshift.
so that it could be level. And it was
Mhm.
like, oh my God. Like just looking at a picture of it now just makes me cringe because I'm like, yo, I could have been my last mural too. But
You're like,
there's
"How unsafe?" But
but it was
He
like
made
he
it
was
work.
there, right? And
Yeah.
then even
Mhm.
I had like a window painting job for a restaurant, and I started using the wrong paint, and the wind, like I am using tempera paint on glass, which was like I don't know what I had going on, but um I'm painting it in, I'm like buffing in like the priming it, that's the word. And
Mhm.
as I'm sitting there painting it, the wind is blowing and the wind is pulling the paint off the wall in pieces and chips and it's just flying and
Yikes.
it's getting like into the street, it's getting onto the plates, it's getting onto people's food, it's sitting outside,
Mhm.
like it was just a disaster. And I remember like calling my dad and I was like, yo, I don't know what to do out here and stuff's coming off the wall. And he's like, I don't know either. And he pulled up and I think
Yikes.
we went to like Home Depot, got like some other paint. But yeah, like gotta
Definitely
gotta
a pain thing. That
yeah, gotta be
I
appreciative
mean,
of the parents that just
that's
pull up.
cute though, yeah. You, like, learn had a funny experience with your dad, that's cute.
Yeah, it's like,
Mm.
man, he's been there for a lot of projects and a lot of shows where just like I mean, where good things happen too. It's not just all the disasters, but like, yeah, like think it's very important to just like recognize the support of parents, man. Like, cause you know, a lot of people don't even their parents don't care or like they don't believe in them or like they'll be trying to fight against them
Right,
like what
right.
you're doing is crazy and all this stuff, you know?
Especially art. Especially with art. Yeah.
Yeah, cause
Mhm.
it was for so long people thought like, you know, if you're an artist, you're gonna starve, you're gonna, you know,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
not gonna be able to make it,
Starving
whatever.
artist.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like, did you know about a lot of or I guess because you said your brother was working for Disney and stuff too. So like you probably knew from pretty early the different possibilities of art careers. But when I was growing up, I didn't know all the different careers that artists could do. Like I thought it was
Right.
like gallery artist,
Mhm.
tattoos,
Mhm.
or like animator. Like you make shows and movies, but that was it. That's like all I knew
Yeah.
that artists could do.
I mean, I feel like it's like I knew, but I didn't know the specifics of, like, there's, like, a niche for everything. So it's, like, kinda like that where I would think, like, animator, illustrator, all those things, but there's so much more in art and so much that you can do, and I didn't even think that, like, doing art for people who do art full time, that that was a possibility also. Because that's why I always thought, like, corporate art. I mean, I do graphic design, which isn't art, but it's like there's so much more that you can do. So it is interesting to see what you can get into. Because especially like
Yeah.
here in Atlanta, where it's like basically Hollywood, where there's so many people who work in film or TV, like, but they still do art. Like it's like a weird balance of like how to have a creative job, which is they're all so specific, and then balancing your like what else do you want to do?
Yeah.
Yeah,
How
creatives are just always creating.
how do you go about balancing like your day job and then like freelance work and personal work?
It's it's a lot, it's busy. A lot of taking notes, doing calendars, really, like, making sure or only taking on passion projects that are relevant to me or something that I really want to work on. I feel like I won't take on like, I've learned I used to say yes to everything and be so burnt out doing, like, a 9 to 5, and then right after you clock out, you work on this other project that also has deadlines and clients and things like that. Um, so for me now, that I've, like, done this for a while, I only say yes to projects that really, like, resonate with me.
Mhm.
And I seem to like by doing that, projects that I like seem to be falling more into my lap, like things that you actually want to work on. Um, but the other thing is just I guess finding balance in your day. So for me, it's very different from like yes, I'm doing creative, but as a graphic designer, I'm on the computer all day from 9 to 5. So my balance is doing murals and doing tape. It's something that I'm physically like able to get my hands dirty and work on. So it feels completely different, even though they're all still like designing something. I like to take on a whole bunch of different projects that all feel unrelated so that it's like it seems like it would be a lot, but I feel like just it feels fresh to kind of change from project to project. That way it's not all the same. Like I'm not on the computer the whole time. I'm not always just doing murals. It's a balance of doing different things and just staying creative. But then I also make time for myself. I try to at least every day to like at least like 15, 30 minutes or something to just do something fun. Whether it's like I'm gonna cook something, I'm gonna eat something I want, I'm gonna do a puzzle, like
Mm,
draw for no reason, watch a TV show, just to have that break and like quiet. So it's
mm.
hard, but it's a lot of keeping track of deadlines and timing. And I mean, you know how it is as an artist, especially if you're doing a lot of like art calls and things like that. There's a lot, you get ghosted. They don't, you say, you got a lot of no emails. And for me, it's like having to balance that out, like, because that's my passion project. So sometimes it feels like muraling and art is my full time and like my 9 to 5 is more like my side hustle. That's like what keeps me afloat to be able to do what I want to do, which is my
Mhm.
passion projects. Um, yeah, it's all perspective and just, you know, really staying busy but still making time to rest.
Yeah. I learned I was listening to Dr. K on YouTube. He's over the company Healthy Gamer. It's an amazing community and YouTube channel. And he spoke about the like what overwhelm is and like what it means to be overwhelmed. And he broke it down in a certain way that like changed the way I saw it forever. It was He said that overwhelm is when you're in a place where there are more things outside of your control than things inside of your control. It's not about
Mm,
having a lot going on. It's just when you
right.
feel powerless because there's so many
Hmm.
things out there that's like you have no power over. And he says that the best thing or the best way to get out of a feeling of overwhelm is to actually take on more stuff, like to do things that you
Mm,
choose to do because then it won't
right.
feel so bad because then you're basically tipping the scale of like things in your control versus out of your control. And it sounded a
Mhm.
lot like what you just spoke about, where it's like, okay, how do you manage it all? Because it's a lot. How do you not get like overwhelmed? And you're like, there's things that I choose to do every day. I take 15, 30 minutes and
Hmm.
do something that I want every day. And like, I bet that that
Right.
does keep you like kind of just level or at least just not feeling like
Hmm.
work is just so much. Because then there's sometimes where like work is all the person does and they feel
Hmm.
exhausted.
Hmm.
But then you have people who are
Yeah.
doing more but feel like not as tired
Better
or
about
not
it.
as overwhelmed. Right. And so you're like, what is that? And
Yeah.
I think
That's like,
like
hmm.
you hit it right on the head with that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
totally a good, yeah, because it sounds weird. I've never heard that, but that's, I guess that is totally what I am doing is like, because it like if you look at your schedule of all the things that you have to work on, because I'm like a list person. I'll have lists of what I got to do, like get done throughout my day or week, and like
Hmm.
it looks like a lot, but I feel like if it's something I could handle, it's almost more like fulfilling that you finished all of it successfully than like being just overwhelmed in one thing and like I can't move. Then you just move on to something else. It's like refresh. It's like hitting refresh all the time,
Hmm.
where I'm almost like working on multiple things at once, but it works for me.
Yeah. So do you have any
Hmm.
ways or any specific apps or techniques that you use to keep yourself organized? Like I'm getting to a point where things are starting to just get really busy and I don't know how I'm doing it. Like it's like I feel like I'm juggling because like I'm always like right on the like I have to do it right now instead of like having things planned out, planned out, planned out. It's like I'm just riding on like the crest of a knife right now where I'm like having to just do stuff that like that I remember, but it's
Yeah.
just because like I don't know how to like keep up a calendar. I can build a calendar out for the month, and then like that
Mhm.
calendar, like that month goes by, and then I'm like, dang, I'm back to an empty month again. But like, are there any just things that help making that process a little bit easier?
Yeah, honestly, I'm not the best at like really staying organized. I just started using like digital like Google Calendar. I'm an old school, like it helps me more to doodle like because I mean we like to draw. So doodling and making lists like physically with a paper and a pen or a pencil. I still have a paper planner, and I think that helps me the best because I can
Mm,
doodle, I can like draw notes, I can make lists. Something about that, like physically, is just better for me to remember things versus just putting it in my phone because I will forget that way. Like I
mm,
need to just write stuff down for me. Um, but yeah, it's like it is hard to stay on top of everything, but a lot of the times if it's something that I already know what I'm gonna do and like I have this plan or like you get that like light bulb moment, you just have to do it then and there or you have to sketch it or you finish that project then. So sometimes I'll do stuff right away, but then other times if it's you can tell when I don't actually want to work on something, I'll procrastinate where I almost work better when it's due. Like the pressure of having such little time will help me get it done faster. Probably not as nice, but it depends on the project.
yeah, it's
So I'm
definitely
I'm definitely both. Yeah, it depends on the mood and the project. So I'm like both of the organized and unorganized.
no, it definitely be like that where like you can get a project done like in a day or so, but then you get there and you're like, dang it, I could have if I spent one more day, I could have made this
Yeah.
way cooler. I like, dang it, if I could have just
Hmm.
started a little bit earlier, like this would have been
Right.
amazing. And like I didn't give myself
Hmm.
the time. So are you writing stuff down? Like, do you just get up in the morning and you're like, what do I have to do today? Bam, bam, bam. Or are you getting it together the night before? Or do you like plan it out for the week? Or how are you operating that planner?
It's really just spontaneous. If something comes up, like emails come up, or sometimes there's like events I get invited to, like if there's a screening or like something, I'll just write it down like immediately. But then
Hmm.
other times, like I'll forget. So sometimes I'll try my best to plan my week, but a lot of the times, like when I start work at my 9 to 5, like we'll be in our morning meetings, and that's like because we're already kind of planning and talking about what we're doing, that's when I'll write my like day to do list, like things that I have to do, emails that I have to write back, like stuff
Hmm.
like that. So it's not necessarily like I sit down and write with my coffee in the morning. It's not like that. I just kind of I get to it when I get to it.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Hmm.
So speaking of planning, what kinds of can you zoom out a little bit and tell me what your bigger dreams are for the future? Like there's a lot of projects that you're doing and that you get into here and there, but do you have any like main quest that you're on in terms of your art?
Um, it's hard to say. I feel like what I said earlier was one of them that I want to do is do a duct tape mural one day. Since I feel like this year has been very light on the murals for me and a lot heavier on doing galleries,
Mhm.
which is just like a whole different, it's a whole different thing. It's a lot of group shows and galleries, and I think I want to do a solo show probably next year or one of these years when I have time to like collectively, do something, which is I think a solo show would be fun, like a full tape solo show, like maybe
That would be
interactive or
lit.
something like that. And I know I
Eh,
told you that we're gonna have House of Daydreamer show, which is slowly getting there, where it's like slightly like curating, you know. So it's just little steps of wanting to do that soon. But yeah, I feel like I would also like to do just combining like going to events and like I don't want to say influencer. I'm not an influencer, but going to events and like working with companies. I want to do more like collaborations with companies or like
mhm.
not even companies, but like just things like activations for events and things like that. Like if I could do some kind of like art activation or like an art collab with brands, I think that would be like really fun. So it's like a mix of content creation, art, media, putting something out there that's like if it's a brand that I like, it's just everything rolled into one. So I don't know how that works, but that
Mhm. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
it sounds like quite a lot to do, quite a lot
Hmm.
to reach for. and the part that's even cooler, I didn't hear anything that I I like. There were no doubts or anything, or like even like skepticism on the possibility of
Mm,
you doing it. Like it all sounds like something you could do like tomorrow. Like it sounds like you're already
yeah,
equipped to do all of those things.
I'm glad it sounds like that.
So yeah.
No, I definitely feel like I guess I'm always someone who, like, if I have that idea that I wanna do something, it, like it just kinda has to roll that way, but I feel like I can do it, you know? So it's not necessarily like, it's more so I'm almost shy about it. Like, even I'm shy on camera. Like, I'm starting to get more comfortable in doing things like this, so that's definitely, like, a learning thing, especially my husband being a videographer. He, like, interviews people, and he always helps me set up for all my stuff and be better at, like, camera things and sharing my art. It's all just learning, and if this was hard before and I can do it now, I can do other stuff. Yeah.
Mm.
Mhm.
There's something so nice about that. Being able to like go into something uncomfortably and
Mhm.
like gain your momentum or gain your steps through it. A lot of
Mhm.
people, they won't even take that first step, or they'll take the first step and then not want to go any further because the discomfort is just too much,
Yeah.
and so
Mhm.
that's
I do
cool
get
that.
that because I'm shy for real. People don't believe me, but I'm shy.
No, I feel it. Like
Yeah.
I was not
Mhm.
there was a I had wanted to stream for a long
Mhm.
time. Well, not for a long time. I had wanted to do like YouTube or like content creation,
Mhm.
stuff like that. I got inspired to stream by G, seeing her stream, but
Oh,
I
so
had
she
always
started first.
yeah, she started like earlier, maybe earlier this year. Like she really took it
Mm.
seriously, and just seeing her like go and build the community and stuff like that, and just seeing her have fun and make friends. I was like, oh, I want to try. But there was always the big hesitation of like being on camera, because I was like, man, I don't like that. Like I don't like the sitting here having to talk to the camera, or hearing my
Right.
voice on the playback is very like, ooh, it's itchy for me.
Agreed.
But
Same. Yeah.
but it's cool.
Mhm.
Like each time that I sit down and do it, it does get a little bit easier and a little bit more like
Yeah.
comfortable. So yeah,
Mhm.
it's something that you have to just keep working through a lot of times.
For sure. Yeah, because I still can't do that. Like, I feel like I make a lot of reels. I put out a lot of videos, but if you notice, majority of my videos are just time lapses or voiceovers, or like it's the work, but I'm not like in front of the camera because it I give myself the ick. Like, I don't. It's cringy. I don't want to. I don't know how to talk to the camera.
Yeah.
If it's not an interview, like how people just do that and so naturally, I'm like, I'm still not there. I can't. I can't do that. But
Yeah. I
we're
don't know
we're
what it
working
is.
our way. We're trying, experimenting with videos and stuff like that.
Trying, man, because it'd be rough.
Yeah.
Like, man,
Mhm.
on the I've been putting an intro out on the YouTube videos, and I recorded that intro so many times. And there's so many bloopers where like I'm like, oh dang it. No, that sounds
I
terrible.
wanna hear
Like,
the
no.
bloopers.
Oh, they're crazy. I might put them all together and like put out like a little blooper
Yeah.
thing. That joint it's hilarious because I sit back, and I think now it's cool because I can sit and just laugh at myself.
Yeah.
But like at
Uh-huh.
first it was like real cringe. It was like legitimate, like, ooh, this is terrible. But
Right? It's like something to
yeah,
get over, but it's so hard because I still like, I probably won't watch this back because 'cause I'm gonna be, "Ew."
I
I
feel it.
know.
I feel it. I feel
Mhm.
it, man. Um, cool. Are there any things that you feel like we have not talked about yet? What's something that's
I
important
don't
that
know.
we
I
have
feel
not
like the
discussed?
pretty well-rounded in what I don't know. I can't even think of stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hit a lot of places.
Mhm.
Cool. Oh, there was one thing I wanted to know. There's the concept of the creative bank account. You know about that theory or that
Mm-mm.
feel? The creative bank account is essentially whenever you create something, you make a purchase. And as you purchase,
Mm,
your bank account goes down. You get to the bottom, you need to refill it.
mm.
You refill your creative bank account by, going to live life, touch grass, talk to people, stuff like that. And I'm curious to know how you refill your creative bank account.
Hmm. Just like life stuff, you mean?
Yeah, just
What you do
anything.
outside yeah.
Yeah, outside of art, or
For me,
even if it
it's
is art, I
yeah.
mean, just how you refill when you feel like
Mhm.
you've been like just exhausted creatively.
Down. I feel like honestly, like even just recently, how I was feeling burnt out from just work. Like work's been very busy since it is like a news. There's so much news happening where that can easily like just burnt out. Not even from the work, just from the content. So
Hmm.
I went home for a week. I put PTO in and was just home with no plans. Just hung out with family, hung out with my nieces, and then sometimes me and my husband will just like we'll eat, we'll watch a movie, we'll get pizza, like take the dog on a walk. It's a lot of, I'm trying to get back consistent in my workout plans. I feel like that was a good, like, blow off steam, get your head right, not think about art. Yeah, just be active and try new things. I really like going to try just different experiences,
Hmm.
so yeah, it's fun. Even just going to high contrast on Tuesdays. Like I don't always go on Tuesday, but whenever I do, it's like I need that sense of community. So I feel like that's just going out to stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, every time I go to high
Even like
contrast,
yeah. Mhm.
it's really hard to actually draw for me. And it's
Oh
nothing
yeah. I
on
don't
them. It's just they're all the people are so interesting. I just spend my whole time just
uh
talking.
No, same. I rarely draw when I'm at high contrast. I'm there to like hang out and like catch the vibes and the inspiration so that I can go home and get like motivated to draw just being around them, you know. So, and even
Yeah.
like going roller skating with you guys. Like that's a whole like I'm trying to get better at I'm trying to be on your level roller skating. It's just another thing that I want to try. I feel like somehow I'm like a serial hobbyist. I just want to try everything and experience everything. Yeah.
Yeah. We're definitely
Yeah.
going, man. Me and G go
Mhm.
all the time. We go
Yeah.
like Fridays, Sundays, Mondays. We usually go. So, whenever you want to go on those days, man, hit us up. We're usually like unless something's going on, like we're usually there.
Mhm. Okay,
So,
noted. Cause yeah, that's the next one I'm trying to get better at. Still not there yet. Yeah.
it's all good.
Mhm.
It's a process. Like
Yeah.
it's that stuff is hard. That stuff is hard, man. Like,
Mhm. It is hard.
hmm but um we have a tradition, a new tradition on the podcast where because it is called the Vertex, it is the point of connection. And I wanted this tradition to be the opportunity for the guest on the podcast to be able to attempt a point of connection with anyone that you are trying to reach. Anyone in the world, we're just shooting a shot out to see if we can make the connection. So whether it is a dream client, whether it is somebody that, long lost cousin or just anything like that,
Mm,
and wanting to I'm going to do my best to be able to reach out to that person or tag them or send it to them.
cool.
But yeah, it's just an opportunity for you to try and make a connection with someone in the world. And so I wanted to give you that opportunity now. Who would you want to connect with?
Love that. That is like really a big question and hard to think of. Um, Actually, the first thing that comes to mind, it is very random,
Hmm.
not famous people. But when I went home recently, I thought of my next door neighbors that
Hmm.
from my old childhood. They were like a Hispanic family, and I think the parents didn't even speak English, but I used
Hmm.
to walk to school with them every morning, and we used to watch like PBS and like learn together, and I think they used to like babysit me when my parents couldn't come get me. But
Mm.
I lost contact with them when they moved because I was like probably in 3rd grade. But it was like the older sister's name was Gladys,
Hmm.
Esperanza was the middle daughter, and then Enrique was the youngest. And I feel
Mm.
like I used to draw with them and do all these things. I know you're probably not gonna be able to reach them, but I was like, that was the first thing that came to my mind, just because I tried to look them up and I was trying to find them because I was like, what happened to my childhood friends? I just hope that they're good.
Yeah. I mean, shoot, it may
Yeah.
not be me that reaches them, but
Yeah,
I
yeah.
hope that I can reach the person that reaches them. Like
Right.
that's the whole theory behind it. I'm gonna do my best and I'm gonna
For
hope
sure,
that
for
like it
sure.
reaches them somehow.
Mm.
But yeah, I think that'll be really cool if they're able to
That would be
find you.
crazy. Yeah.
That's super cool. Super cool.
Yeah.
Well, shoot, thank you for sitting down and have this conversation. I think that
Yeah.
um being able to sit here and talk with you, I've learned so much about creativity and about your story and so many new things that I had no idea. Like I did not know that you spent so much time overseas so young.
Mhm.
And I mean, even just the type of ideas that you like to have. I mean, it's very inspiring. Every time I sit down to talk with you, I always get inspired to try and just do something that I haven't done before, or
Mhm.
just try to see the same things in like a different way. And I think just this conversation can help a lot of people do the same things. And so I'm excited to share this with people because I think this will be very helpful.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, that's why I do what I do. I just want everyone else to be inspired and be able to, like, if I could do it, you could do it, that kind of thing. So everybody just share their art. Don't be shy. Share your process because everybody has words of, advice that they can give. Everybody's pretty chill about sharing their art and their skills. So fun. Hope somebody gets inspired.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, cool.
Yeah. And I love
Uh
the podcast. Great, great job. I'm glad that you said
hey,
you wanted to do a podcast and now you are, because that's very cool.
yeah, it's been a journey. It's been a journey, but
Mm.
I'm learning a lot like from y'all. Like this is it's cool. I'm even seeing like as I sit down and draw now, like I mean, I hear y'all like whispering in my head, just certain little moments where we'll have like in the
I was like, scary. No.
no, it's cool. It's like just little like tidbits, little words of
Yeah.
wisdom, little quotes that
Mhm.
just like echo through. And I'm like, dang, this is really cool being able to like get to know y'all too. Cause now it's like, oh,
Mhm.
like actually I feel like I know this person better than I did before. And so
Right.
it's always cool. It's fun. But
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, it's been good. Yeah, because we always just talk about art whenever I run into you. So cool.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
And oh, nice. Um, well, yeah, I think that's it, man. Let's see if we have any questions. Would you be down to sit for a couple questions from the chat if they have any?
Or
See.
draw
Um,
something. I forgot about that.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Forgot. The
It's
magma.
okay. Next time.
Yeah.
Who's that? Who's hello from Portugal? Cool.
Ooh, I want to say that person's username. I feel like I'm gonna tear it up though. Um, Joao Pinto 37. Hello to you. Krabby Books.
Cool.
Hello to you. Cool. And then Ian, what's popping? Says,
Thanks for watching.
ooh, Urban Knight. Sorry, just got here. You guys both seem
Hi.
very nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. Appreciate it.
Yeah. And this opened a whole world of I've never streamed either. So I was like, I learned from you, Cam, because this is cool. I just see, online, like Kai and stuff. You'd be like, hey, chat.
Yeah. I like man, my chat is I mean they kind of get active, um
Yeah. They're
but yeah,
listening.
yeah, for sure. Like I think a lot of people who watch the streams now, they kind of have I'm sure they have me like in the background. They're probably like
Yeah.
drawing or just doing dishes or something, listening.
Hmm.
Said I produced mangas, but I saw art and I thought I'd drop in.
That's cool.
Oh, you know what? Another thing. I want you to let people know where they can find you and where they can support you. Any type of website, social media handles. I want people to be able to look you up
Yeah.
after the stream.
You could go to HellaLeah.com or on any social media site. It'll be just at HellaLeah. So I'm mostly active on Instagram, but also on TikTok, trying to get more active on TikTok. But yeah, everything it's pretty much HellaLeah all around. I'm trying to get a little bit more art on my website too. Some prints here and there, and clothing, as well as what is it? One of one, like art pieces and like duct tape work. So stay tuned for that.
So cool. I just put both of those in the chat too. Oh, cool.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. It's been cool. And we'll chat
Absolutely.
again next time.
For sure. I will
Yeah.
catch you
All
later.
right.
See
Okay,
you.
have a good night. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching the episode. One of my favorite things about doing this podcast is hearing about when someone resonates with something we said. It's truly the reason I continue to make these happen. Comment down below what stuck with you, and we can continue the discussion further. Also consider liking and subscribing. It helps me bring in more amazing creatives and helps me make this show better for you all every episode. Catch y'all next week.